many in the media just jumped right to, oh, then this person's anger that caused her to shoot children must be attributable to guys like Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire. Therefore, it's their fault. So I agreed. I appreciated your tweet and agreed with it fully.
Well, I think the work that Matt Walsh has been doing, starting with What is a Woman, has been very important work, defending a fundamental truth and defending women just in general. And so I think what Matt has been doing, he's been very courageous, and I've always felt that he did this knowing that he was going to face some severe blowback, pushback, and threats and potentially violence. And so, after thinking about the families involved here that did suffer these consequences, I started thinking about Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles and everybody over at the Daily Wire, because here in Nashville, this is kind of turning into the headquarters or ground zero of a culture war that is centered around gender dysphoria, gender identity, the LGBTQ issues. And I think because of the work that I do, it's ground zero for the discussion about race and how race is being used to silence people and silence the truth and promote a lot of this gender ideology stuff that's becoming pervasive. And so I've always known that Matt was taking a real risk. And then when you see this type of violence directed at Christians, directed at believers, and perpetrated by someone who clearly had some gender dysphoria and some mental health issues that American culture has seemingly chosen, we're going to treat with surgeries and not with therapy and spirituality, and we're just going to chemically castrate people and remove parts. And Matt, the Daily Wire crew, those of us that are Christian believers, we stand against that, and there's going to be real blowback for that.
It's absolutely absurd. They're acting like a trans person got killed by a transphobic person. That's what they're acting like. That's not what happened. A trans person unleashed hell on a bunch of 9-year-olds, took the lives of 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults who devoted their lives to teaching and helping children. That's what happened. The reaction in the media suggests it's the opposite way.
I think what the trans people would argue, I would disagree with them, but what they would argue is that Audrey Hale is angry.
We don't like to say the names of the shooters. Well, let's not help this person get the infamy she so desperately sought.
Well, I think they believe her anger is a byproduct of American culture not being accepting of trans people. And their argument is she wouldn't be angry and she wouldn't have done this kind of violence if Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Michael Knowles, Jason Whitlock were more accepting of trans people and normalize this. And listen, I think that her anger and the anger of a lot of people in that crowd is because they don't have a correct understanding of who they actually are. And that would be frustrating for anybody, and so I get their frustration. I think they need therapy, mental help. I think they need a better understanding, from my view, as a Christian. They need a better understanding of God and that they're image bearers of God and that they're made in God's
image. Well, she had Christian parents,
and
from what we hear.
Embrace that identity rather
we are hearing that she comes from a family of faith
by sexuality and other things.
Yes, no, I get all that. But I will say it sounds like her parents are faithful and that she was put through the same Christian school that she went and shot up. So I don't know that she took to it, but the introduction of faith in her life had been there. But she was obviously mentally disturbed. And I get the argument, right, that people who are not accepting of gender dysphoria as a thing, or of the trans lifestyle, however you want to phrase it, that this is what the left wants to blame, people like Matt or Ben, Michael. But you could, if you want to play that game, you could just as easily play it with the far left activists, trans and otherwise, are ratcheting up the rhetoric for people like this shooter, telling them over and over again, everyone wants to kill you. They want to erase you. They're trying to kill you. There's this crazy video posted on Libs of TikTok today where there's this trans woman. I don't know. It's a biological man, I think. Talking about how when the police come to arrest you for being trans, you attack them, you shoot them. This is a lunatic. This is a lunatic who shouldn't be in front of a camera and doesn't need any more amplification. But that rhetoric's out there trying to spin up the shooters of this world, like this person whose name we're not saying, right? I mean, if you want to blame rhetoric, you could go that way too.
Look, Megyn, the rhetoric that's being used to trigger everyone emotional and violent is across the board. We're in a culture where everybody's a victim. Every day I could turn on the TV or hop on social media and find rhetoric that says, Jason, you're Black, you're a victim, this country's exploited you, this country owes you something, you should be mad as hell. And if a white person doesn't pronounce your name properly or cut you off in traffic or is rude to you at a grocery line, that's a sign of Americans' white supremacy, and you need to get in that person's face. Or if the courts make a ruling that you don't like, you need to take to the streets and burn down buildings and terrorize people. That messaging is across the board. And so this woman was radicalized the same way I'm seeing a lot of young Black kids radicalized by this victim ideology that's being preached and stuffed down everyone's throat. It's people have issues. And that's why we have therapists, that's why we have ministers, and that's why we have parents. We have people to help people work through their issues rather than just blaming everyone else and then turning violent because people might disagree. I don't see myself as a victim. I don't see America as inherently racist or irredeemably racist. I don't see America as irredeemably sexist or I see America as sympathetic towards trans people, empathetic towards trans people, but there are many of us that don't believe that surgery is the right solution for their issues. Counseling and mental health are the right solutions, but everybody, women are being told they're victims and that men have mistreated them for hundreds of years and taken advantage of them. And so everybody is supposed to turn violent in reaction to their mistreatment. And we just see it with so many young people. And that's why, we're at each other's throats right now in this country. It's a sad time. It's so not reflective of the childhood and my first 40 years on this planet. It's only been in the last 10 years where everybody is a victim and everybody is supposed to be angry, and social media is drumming up a lot of this.
Are you tired of feeling like your personal data is at risk? Or you worry that big tech is watching every move you make? If you don't want anyone else knowing where you've been, who you've met, and what you're thinking, Start Mail is the perfect solution for protecting your privacy and giving you peace of mind. Start Mail is used by tens of thousands of people around the world who believe that privacy is a fundamental human right worth fighting for, and they're sick of sacrificing it to these weird techies who want to spy on us all the time. With over 330 billion emails sent daily, email has become essential, but sending it is not safe. It's like sending a postcard. Anyone who helps deliver it can read your message or make a copy. Big tech email providers can scan, analyze, and save details of every single email you send and receive, even after you delete it. They create profiles of your personal life and then sell it to advertisers. That opens you up to intrusive ads, identity theft, spam, and phishing attacks. Say goodbye to ads and tracking. Start Mail will never serve you ads and will protect your inbox with state-of-the-art security. Sign up today to save 50% on your first subscription year. Go to startmail.com/MK and join the thousands of people who have chosen Start Mail for their email security needs. That's startmail with a T, START mail.com/MK for 50% off. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.